So, you've heard of the Glyndebourne Academy. Well, even if you haven't, in this video I'm going to explain exactly what it is and how I managed to get in. So, the first thing to sort of address is what is the Glyndebourne Academy? Now, it's designed for people who have had some sort of halt in the development of their voice. For me, it was, I got ill about 3 years ago just as my voice was breaking, so my development in terms of singing was kind of halted temporarily. There are people this year who just, their problem is they are living in an isolated environment in the Highlands of Scotland or Northern Ireland. There may be other people who just come to the terms that they can sing. They may not have realised they can sing, but recently they found that they can. Now, it is worth noting that you cannot have studied voice at a conservatoire. I remember recently reading something that Glyndebourne shared on their Facebook account, which I would recommend that you follow and keep up to date with everything, that there is a new member of the chorus who was a recent graduate of the Glyndebourne Academy. And the article basically shows how he didn't really know how to sing, and now he's singing in one of the most prestigious stages in opera. Now, I better tell you what Glyndebourne is. Now, if any of you have come across any sort of stately homes, there might be some near you, there might not be. Just think, near me, the closest one is probably a place called Harewood House. Now, imagine Harewood House just casually used to put on small opera scenes and small operas in a living room. And they thought, wow, this is getting quite successful. Let's create a company from this. So they then put together an opera company. And Glyndebourne has now grown from them just doing operatic scenes all the way up to now they have a nearly 2,000 seat huge auditorium that is quite a spectacle, and they're putting on things every summer, and this Glyndebourne Academy is a great way to help get you all the experience that you need with great professionals. You work extensively with this woman called Mary King, who just seems to know everything. She's helped me in the 1 day, maybe 2 days that I've worked with her, and has helped me loads already. So in terms of the process of signing up to become a graduate of the Glyndebourne Academy, it started off quite simply. In fact, I was just looking for summer courses that you can do for a singer. I know Tanglewood do a great one. I know Curtis School in America do a great one. I was lucky enough to attend the Guildhall one last summer, which is a couple of days. And so I was just looking and I found this Glyndebourne Academy. And it all starts off with, you send off a little application form and you send off a video. I believe you send off 2 songs, or just below 10 minutes of you singing. I mean, you have to show off your voice, that's the immediate thing, but they need to know that they have something to work with. So when it comes to choosing your songs that you're going to use for your initial audition video, choose things that I would say you know very well, but are still relatively new in the repertoire, so that they can see, okay, well, we know what we can work with him on. Because if you have a completely polished performance, they're going to think, he doesn't need us. He can just, in a year's time, he'll be applying for conservatoire. I put together this video, I filmed it at my singing teacher's house. 1,000 sighs to save. And we edited that. The thing that you attach to the file with your singing clips are, it's a video of you basically saying why you wanted to come to the Glyndebourne Academy. Now, I was lucky enough to have seen, while it was on the West End, this play about Glyndebourne itself. It was called The Moderate Soprano. So that gave me a great interest of what Glyndebourne is itself. And then, of course, I found Glyndebourne and I was like, wow, I need to really try and go for this. So I put together that, and they say, do not just repeat your CV or what you wrote in your application form. They want to sort of get to know, I know it's cliche, but they want to get to know you. So I did, and I explained what I'd been through. I really didn't want to bore them too much. Keep it as interesting as possible, that's what I'd suggest. Just tell them something about you that is almost like your fun fact. Because if they find you boring and you're spending a week to sort of 10 days with a group of people in a confined space, they're going to think he's not really going to gel with all the other people. So you've just got to have fun in your initial video. So you've sent off all your videos, you've sent off the application form. Now what's next? Well, now you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and you find out you've got an audition at one of their, I believe there's 3 centres for the initial audition. I had one in Leeds, at the Leeds College of Music. There was one in Liverpool and one in London. Well, there was 2 in London. You turn up and you're in, for me, I was in a group of about 14 people. So they've already whittled it down quite a lot from all the applications that they must have received. And you do a lot of exercises to start off with, just the usual icebreakers, name learning games, but then there is no messing about. You jump straight into them sort of testing you on your rhythmic abilities, how musical you are. There was an exercise that we had to do where there is the chant at a football game that goes like... You don't say England, sadly, but you do this combination of stomps and clicks and making noises, and you have to try and keep in tempo. Now that sounds very, very easy, but in the combination that you do, you're always changing which foot you're starting on, and so it really does get in your head, and that's then testing your sense of pulse. And then after that, they taught us this song. The song was Amarilli mia bella, which we worked on a lot in the audition with Mary, working on the singing and the singing technique. And then they brought along this native Italian that we worked on the Italian language with. So we had to get to grips with all the pronunciation straight away. So we learned E with an accent, how that's open, that's more like E rather than I. You learn all about that, and how a GL is a L sort of sound. You learn all that straight away. And I think that almost shocked me, because you were like, wow, this is really, really fast paced. And so after that, you went in and you have your one-to-one time with Mary. So I chose 2 songs. They only heard one. The song I sang was Edward Elgar's The Shepherd Song. It went really well. I was very happy with it. But she came straight over and she picked up on the fact that I do musical theatre, and I obviously act a lot with my face and with my head. And so what the problem I had is that instead of keeping me in a neutral position, I was jolting my head out. So she fixed that problem with me almost instantly. So you've completed your audition, whether it's in Liverpool, Leeds or London, and you wait nervously. I was thinking, oh God, I didn't sing that well, and my sight reading was dreadful, and this was bad, and that was bad, and this was bad, and it all gets in your head. And then you look at your emails, and at 5 o'clock, probably just as they're all leaving the office, they send the email saying, "Dear Frankie, thank you very much. We'd like you to come and have a recall audition with us at Glyndebourne itself." And as you can imagine, I was jumping around the room. I was running up the walls. How that went about is they basically send you an email saying, this is what you need to bring. Just have it all learned. So what they asked was us to bring 2 songs and have the Amarilli mia bella learnt off by heart. So how this 2-day thing works. Now I'm going to cover this in 2 sections. The first is day 1. Day 1 was the busiest day. Day 1 was absolutely non-stop. I believe we started at 11 and ended at, I think it was 8. They put us on this sort of roundabout thing. So we had the introduction and we ran over the Amarilli mia bella. That was for the first sort of hour, and then they split us up. So our first section was us working with an accompanist, and I brought with me Après un rêve, which is a bit of Forêt. And it went really well. Again, she helped me. It wasn't more on the technique, it was more on developing my musicality. So it was just creating this really legato, dreamy feel, which is of course what the song is about. Now, the next section that we went on to was we did a bit of line dancing. Now, that was an experience. Luckily, I have some dance training. So that was them sort of saying, okay, can he dance? Does he need help on his movement? I think that went okay. There was also a bit of yoga as well. So it was all making sure you're all in alignment and your abs are all connected and you're breathing correctly and your posture's all correct. Then after that we worked with the same Italian lady from Leeds, so that was great. Again on the Amarilli, but also on this chorus that we were doing from Così fan tutte, which is A Soldier's Life for Me, which is this great chorus. So we did some work on that. That was, of course, in Italian. Then we had our session with Mary King. So that was... I brought with me Ideale, which is a bit of tosti, and we went into this room, and I heard the other two tenors. Well, there was 5 tenors, but the other 2 tenors in my group. Now, one is this great lad called Owen, and one is this great lad called John. Now, John starts singing first, and I was blown away. It's this fully mature, big dramatic tenor sort of sound, and you're just like, how am I meant to compete with that? And then Owen went, and it was a similar sort of experience. It was really quite shocking, and I went up, and you fill yourself with doubt, and if you get this far, you got to appreciate that you are absolutely worthy of this place. So that's something to get in your head. And I went through myself, and again, she gave me things to work on, and I put that into what happened the next day. So part 2 of this sort of section of the Glyndebourne audition was what happened on the second day. I found out I was singing relatively early, but I just thought, I'm going to take my warm-up very slowly, and so I did. And I went in, I sang my pieces, and there was a panel of people there. Mary was there, the Italian lady was there, Isabella, that's her name, and also is the person who cast us as auditionees for the Glyndebourne Academy. We sang our pieces, and then we had our little panel audition where they asked us a few questions about what we're doing musically, who we're singing with, and things like that. And so I answered them all to the best of my ability. Not that it's a questioning time, not that you got the bright lights on you and they're interrogating you. There's nothing like that. It's very chilled. And then after that, we had a tour. And now the tour was just amazing. You walk round, and I didn't realise how raw it was. You're hearing sheep bleating in the background, and you walk down this here, and there's a bloody peacock hoping to get into an elevator, and it's like, what is going on? And so that was pretty surreal. And so we have the tour, and we go into the auditorium itself, and it's this purpose-built, massive theatre, and you just look around and you think, yeah, this is really what I want to do. You see the dress circle, the stalls, the grand circle, the standing seats, where the people stand at the very top. Then we got to go backstage and see all the rehearsal rooms, where they were rehearsing for the Barber of Seville. And then that was it. We got on a train, we hopped back, I hopped back to Leeds, and yet again we were just like, are we going to find out? When are we going to find out? When are we going to find out? And then, boom, I found out. I was in America at the time. I just got the email, again at 5 o'clock UK time, as they're all heading out of the office. Yet again, I was jumping round. I couldn't contain myself. Me and my sister were playing tennis over this thing, and I must have been hitting it about 50 times harder than I was before, after I found out that I got in. And they give you sort of 2 weeks to prepare 4 pieces. It might have been 5 pieces, actually. And so that was my experience for the Glyndebourne Academy. And don't worry, after I've finished the week-long course, I will immediately have pretty much a vlog out explaining how it all went. Be on the lookout for that. Now, what I do want to go and tell you about is, what does the Glyndebourne Academy entail? What does it mean that I have got in? Basically what it means is I get to spend 7 days with Mary and all the other accompanists, and Isabella as well. Work with them. We get to see an opera itself, so I've got my suit all ready to be out there watching it all. We get to see a rehearsal as well. We put on operatic scenes, so I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but we've been given scenes from Marriage of Figaro. There are scenes from The Magic Flute. So yeah, that's what I have to look forward to. So if you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because there is going to be a whole host of great videos for singers, performers, any musician. Thank you very much for watching. See you.